It is time to do the Maven. So you can buy these for about 1 divine, or you can actually just collect them yourselves. It takes a really long time, so let's go ahead and go in. I hate this boss fight. I'm not gonna lie, it is the most difficult boss fight because it requires you to have a memory game memorized. Now the first few, you can maybe do the first few, but it requires you to literally memorize these sections of the map, and I'll kind of explain it as we go in. But the boss fight is not easy. In fact, we're probably going to die in the memory game because the way it works. So, starting right off, there are going to be moments where we're going to have to walk towards the edge here. When the center starts looking like it's going to expand, it's going to be like a kind of a light blue color. That's when we're going to have to move to the side. Now, the whole map is sectioned off into 3 sections, and we're going to have to memorize which order they go in. If we do not memorize the order, we're dead. That's just kind of how this boss fight works. So, yeah. But there is the Maven. So you can see they're separated by this little line here. So there's 3 sections of the map. It's the most difficult boss fight. But just move, shoot, move, shoot, move. So she doesn't really hit that hard. It's usually with the one-shots. The only thing you really have to watch out for her is a giant pink beam. Obviously, don't stand in those things that come out. So when this guy comes out, we're gonna have to go to the edge over here. See how that blue, light blue is coming out? That will usually eliminate you. So now we're going to do damage to the brain over here. Oh. Do not get touched by these purple beams. Those will do they'll do some damage, but the main thing is they will prevent you from being able to heal yourself, which is actually the most annoying thing. But they will also spawn in bosses here. Sometimes you can get unlucky and get a harder one, but visual clutter is kind of bad with this build. That's why I was like, okay, memory game. Look for the greens. So top, bottom, so this is where we go, top. So that one was easy because it was just not even on another color. So we got lucky with that. Those you kind of want to pop on the edges. It's kind of like Shaper. So we're going to see this thing come up again. So we're going to go walk to the edge. More bosses to fight. Don't get touched by the beam though. It will prevent you from being able to heal yourself. So that's no good. So in the memory game again, these ones sometimes you get unlucky and you get a hard one. So we're just going to start off on this one. So it's left, right, up, left. And don't stand in the purple. See, we successfully did that one because it was pretty easy. But sometimes you get unlucky and you get one that's just so difficult to memorize. And you're just dead. So pop these all in the same area if you can. The pink beam, that's the pink beam. Don't get hit by the pink one. The pink one will actually destroy you. Resummon our ice golem here. Don't touch the blue balls either. Oh, I don't know. Oh, there you go. There we can get the brain down. There we go. Oh, I can't see. I don't know if we got touched. We might have gotten touched by the beams. So again, these beams, they're not the most friendly. Now you see that there is a gap. And you want to go in between the gap. And the most difficult part is you're going to have to do this thing right here where we don't get hit by the beams. Oh, we're having to do the memory game, but I don't even know where it went. So I think it was this one. Oh, it was wrong. We got the wrong one. If you get it wrong, you're basically just dead. This is the most difficult part, is not getting hit by any of those beams while having to do the memory game. And sometimes you're too far away to see where it started. It's honestly kind of unfair, but that's the nature of the Maven. This is why a lot of people don't like this boss fight, myself included. But eventually, they'll come down. Is she even over here? Or we can fight her? Don't actually stand still when she says that, by the way. Oh, there she is, right here. So unfortunately, we have that like little ball right there. Can't even see her. Oh, I think we're doing the game again. Oh, we got touched by it. Oh, we got it wrong. It's over there, unfortunately, and we got unlucky. But we still got 2 more portals. That's all that matters. Oh, I think I touched the thing. We got 1 more portal. Can we do it? And if you fail it, it's okay. Like you see, I've only got 1 portal left, and it happens. See if we can get it. Again, don't get hit by the little lasers. We got it. Woo! Woo! Now it's time for our loot. Got an orb of conflict. So you can see, I barely was able to. I've done this thing so many times, and sometimes you fail it. And it's really coming down to just getting unlucky sometimes with the memory game. But if you completed it, congratulations. It's not an easy fight. It really is the most difficult fight in the game because there's a little bit of RNG. Okay, so there's some dialogue, but we're really not here for the dialogue. We are really here just for that Voidstone. And now we completed all the maps. We got all the Voidstones. We have essentially finished the game. There are more difficult things to do if you do want to go push even further with the game. By all means, you can make the game harder on the Atlas. I think actually if we talk to Kyrak, we'll get like a point. So we can go ahead and get an extra passive point. But if you want to, you can literally just keep on farming the Maven if you want to. You can keep on farming Shaper. You can make them more difficult to get more rewards. You can do what you want to do. At this point, we've completed pretty much the game in the sense where you've done all forms of the content in the game, and you can farm up, you can get really good gear. It's kind of up to you on what you want to do. And since we had this drop, let's go ahead and identify it. Verity's Veil. What is it worth? Okay, that's what that's worth. But the Orb of Conflict is an okay item. I guess it's like 40 chaos. What it does is it raises the strength of a Searing, Exert, or Eater of Worlds modifier on an item, and it lowers the other one. So what you can do is, we have this like increased matter reservation efficiency. Ideally, you'd roll the highest one, and then you roll a really low alternate one, and then you can make the number go higher than what's supposed to actually exist. It's actually a pretty good item, but we still have many more upgrades to go for this build. In fact, I want to swap off of this like visual clutter. I mean, it was fun, it does good damage, but at the same time, I'm so starved for gems. So at this point, we've done everything. Like I mentioned before, you're probably better off than just staying with Lightning Arrow. I just figured I'd go ahead and try it just because I wanted to see what the hype was about with this extra cooldown and basically being able to spam everything. But what I want to do now is I want to do Heat Shiver Ice Shot, and I'm going to try out Vault Ice Shot as it was part of something I wanted to do. In addition to that, I like to test out a lot of things that come with the newer like seasons. And this season Crucible, there is this item over here and this item. I wanted to make a build that was all about Widow Hail. And what you do with Widow Hail is it makes it so this quiver gets a huge amount of extra bonuses. So it's 250% times the stats from the quiver. This quiver right here, it gives me an insane amount of resistances. I mean, it's almost perfect. It rolled 1 cold resistance off. I might go look for one that's rolled perfectly. But if I get 250%, that's huge. I mean, watch how our resistances look after we swap to this. Our resistances are 168, 162, 207. That is insane. And so all of my pieces of gear can have like no resistances on them for the most part. I mean, I'll have to look at it. But basically this item will cover us on resistances, and then we can look for way more insane gear. Specifically looking for gear that has all to strength, dexterity, and intelligence. So I want to try making a build around this, and pretty much at this point we've done everything that we need to do in the game to progress. But what a lot of people like to do once they finish one character is start building more characters. Think about all the crazy stuff that you can do with the new league mechanic. Now, what I would want ideally is to get a Widow Hail. This one's actually rolled perfect, 250 is the max. However, the tree on this is garbage. What I would ideally do is look for a Widow Hail, another one, do the Crucible mechanic, and keep on slamming more Widow Hails into my Widow Hail to try to get plus 120 strength, plus 120 int. That's what I want on a Widow Hail. And then I would get insane amount of stats on every single piece of gear. Then I can also look for all the pieces of gear to have stats, right? Because remember how this item works, we get increased damage per 10 dexterity, per 10 strength, and we're going to become an attribute stacker. You know, you don't have to do any of this if you don't want to. Heck, my next thing that I want to do is, I kind of want to do this. It's a very expensive project because you have to get these items that are basically 2 divines a piece, roughly, and you just have to get another Widow Hail that has a good skill tree, and you just keep on RNGing it until you get it. That's kind of how Path of Exile sometimes works. But what I actually want to do is another part of a side project is actually build an elemental. So this is a completely different build, but I'm just giving you guys ideas on what you may want to try to do after you defeat Maven, because after this, in terms of the story campaign, there really isn't any like other new boss to fight. You can fight the same bosses, but at a harder difficulty if you want to. But you can see this item over here. It's pretty cheap, actually. The Geomantic Gyre is what it's called. So this thing has, once we get it 6-socketed, it'll be much better. But we're going to 6-socket, 6-link it, and then make it so the socketed gems are supported by level 30 gems. So this one would be a 6-link, right, if we get everything set up, and then it would be a 7, 8, 9, a 10 linked item. You can even go to 11, although I haven't seen one that even existed that has all the same ones that work. So this is like a completely different build. In fact, this is probably what I'm going to be playing next league if this item still happens to exist. I don't know if it's going to exist, because sometimes with these seasons there's an item that comes out and it's only available for one season and then it's deleted. You can never get the item again, and if you have it, it's worth a lot of currency that you can trade on the standard market, which is basically where your character moves into. So at this point, what's your next goal with the game? It's kind of up to you. You can build new characters, or what you can do is you can look at the challenges. So you can see if I open up the challenges and I move my face out of the way, you can see all these challenges and you can see all of the different rewards that you'll acquire. See, right now I have the hide. So I completed a bunch of these challenges, and some of them you'll just complete by just playing. But you can see all of these other challenges that you can do. If you click on it, it'll kind of explain to you what you need. If you need to look these up, just Google or look it up on YouTube for the guide. Some of these you can actually complete, like literally within like 5 minutes, you can complete a lot of these, and it's up to you if you want this. What do the challenges do? Well, it gives you free cosmetics in the game. So let me go and open up my cosmetics. I think I have one of them equipped. These are the Chaosborn gloves, so I got these for free. These boots, I think, oh no, it's everything is Chaosborn, so you basically get the full Chaosborn set if you want to. I don't know if I have the armor. Okay, I do have it. So here's what the armor looks like. I already completed it, and as you upgrade it, you can upgrade the way that the item looks. I just like the other one because it has the cape. But basically, this is another form of a goal in the game. To play Path of Exile, it's always good to have a goal versus I'm just gonna go run around and just kill stuff to try to get loot. That's cool and all, but you're gonna have a lot better time if you have these goals, unless your goal is to get as much currency as possible and buy yourself a headhunter, which is one of the like end game items that a lot of people like to shoot for. I have it on my standard characters. I actually don't know which one it is, so I'm just gonna show you guys. First, let me show you guys how much it costs, because it's not cheap. So in terms of winning Path of Exile, there are 2 belts in the game that kind of make you win the game when you get them. So the 2 items are called Mage Blood and Headhunter. And so what they do is the Headhunter will make it so when you kill a rare monster, you gain some of its modifiers for 60 seconds. So you can actually kill a bunch of monsters and you're going to become super, super strong. Honestly, if you want the best feeling of Headhunter without purchasing one, the goal is the closest thing that you'll get, because it's literally like a couple Chaos Orbs, and it's the exact same feeling of Headhunter, although Headhunter arguably is better in most circumstances. It's the closest thing that you'll get. So if you wanted to push for this, I mean, it's not cheap. It's like 100 and something divines. Or you can get something called Mage Blood. These are the two items that once you get them, you basically have one path of exile. Like you can basically kill anything that you want. What this does is it makes it so you're they're not one divine orb, by the way. This is to get a good one, you want the 4 utility flasks have their effects constantly applied to you. Basically, they're like, on average, as far as I'm aware of, anywhere from 200-ish is what they're going to be costing you. So what it does is it makes it so your flasks, the leftmost 4 will always be 100% up, and then you roll your flask to have increased effect but reduced duration, which is what I have right here. And so you get all these awesome benefits, and yeah, your character will be very, very strong because you're going to have all these flasks with bonus effects 100% of the time. You don't even have to activate them. But I already have mine on activation. I actually prefer a Headhunter over Mage Blood, but you can also just think about upgrading your character, build more stuff. It's kind of up to you and what you want to do for the endgame. But basically, after Maven, that's it. If you completed it, honestly, big props up to you. And if you failed the Maven, don't worry. I failed on it my very first time too, and it's painful if you fail. I literally was on my last portal for the Maven, and we still, you know, we got unlucky like 2 different times. So it depends on how the lasers are in relation to also the little like memory mechanic. But I failed it like almost every single time, and you still see we completed it. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. Congratulations if you made it this far. If you guys enjoyed the guide, I might follow up with some other videos, but this is pretty much like the end of the game. Like we've completed all the bosses, but again, you can do more stuff if you want to. In fact, there are other challenges that you can do to get more points. You can do some of these Maven's invitations. Honestly, the Maven boss fight is the hardest thing. If you complete the Maven, you can complete everything in the game. The Maven is by far the most difficult thing for most players, especially beginner player, because of the memory game. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on it, and I'll see you guys in the future. I'll probably upload some more Path of Exile videos because I still plan to do that. Like I said, that side project with this thing is going to be crazy. It's going to be eventually, hopefully, an 11 linked item that rolls really well. It's going to be a blast. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, and congratulations. You completed PoE if you finished it.